Well, in the movie, it's called Savages by Don Winslow. That's his title. And I think he's definitely referencing the 6 characters that we are studying in the movie, all of whom, in some way or another, become savage. Blake Lively, who's a beach bunny who thinks she can live very nicely with 2 boys, is, by the end of the movie, shooting Benicio del Toro in the groin with a pistol. She's crossed over. Aaron Johnson is a young man who is spiritual, and he's a botanist, a scientist. He's growing marijuana as a healing herb to help people. It's very effective in medical relief and in pain. And he does good with the money in Asia and Africa, and he is forced to deal with the cartel, and it becomes a business, and as a result, Bo is kidnapped. He has to become a willing participant in a murder of a false herring. He kills Alex Demian Bashir. He burns a man to death, which O sees. So this is a defeat of everything that these young people stood for. This is a savage in these good people. The savage in John, perhaps he should talk about that himself, but I love the way John plays off of every single person. He talks a certain way to his child, he talks a certain way to the young people, and he talks a certain way to Benicio when he comes to kill him. Everyone plays a moral game. Their morality stretches as far as their appetite allows them to. It's about survival. And you should talk about your own character.
And regarding the cinematography, I actually thought that was an interesting question, because Oliver had noticed in the last 40 years that the cinematography had gotten very dark and almost where you don't see anyone anymore. And I loved this almost a throwback to older style of cinematography where the images are lighter and more colorful, Sergio Leone and so on and so forth. So I was very excited about a look of a movie that seemed completely different with a dark story, but with a light visual. I felt that, like in a yin-yang way, it balanced this movie so beautifully. And it was refreshing. I actually like seeing people again and seeing scenery again, you know.
And yeah, and Salma's blue dresses.
I'm going to be honest. I was so excited to work with Oliver Stone. If it had been a tree that I was playing, I could have taken it. But when I got the script, I was so surprised that not only I got to work with Oliver Stone, but that on top of it I had such a great character to play. And so it was unbelievable for me. I said, for sure it's going to be a nightmare, because it cannot be so many good luck, so many good things together. I'm sure when I get to work with him, he'll be a horrible monster, a beast, because it cannot be so many good things. And then on top of it, I got the surprise of how wonderful it was to be able to work with him. So this was such a great experience, Oliver.
Yes, I did, and I have to tell you, I enjoyed the process. I've done it before. I worked with the novelist Don Winslow and his writing partner Shane Salerno and they did not always agree with the changes, but the director rules in the movies, and the novelist often has to take. But we were happy, and we had some disagreements, but he came out and he supported the movie at the end. He was out there on American television, very nice. We had to make many cuts. The book is written in a postmodern shorthand. It has more than 150 scenes and many characters, many different voices. We did that business of making it into 20, 30 scenes, and we put it in the voiceover of Blake O, one person telling the story, and we changed a lot, including the endings, and the ending became 2 endings, which is fun. And John, I could say John's character underwent the most significant change, because if those of you who read the book know that he committed suicide. He was a corrupt drug enforcement agent, who killed himself, and I thought was the weakest character one of the weaker characters in the book. I think the script did him well, and we made him into a weasel, a big weasel, but he becomes even a bigger weasel as the movie goes, and as we find out at the end of the movie, he not only instigates all the action by selling out the children, the young people, but at the end of the movie, he's the master manipulator who makes the most amount of money, walks away with a smile, and takes down Salma. Well, you asked a lot of different questions. I think the American people have to come to terms with the drug war. They haven't. It's been 42 years. It hasn't worked. America spent $1 trillion chasing the bad guys. And the bad guys have been thoroughly confused between drug addicts, drug dealers and terrorists. The confusion line grows. And the war in Colombia, the war in Mexico, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, it's just not even a war. I live in a culture of war. So, is there a future in war? I don't think so. But some people in America disagree with me. As to the characters who get cut off in the war, I think Salma is a beautiful example of it because she is a strict Catholic widow. Her husband was killed in the drug war. She is not a natural-born gangster, but she becomes one in the course of her life because she has to in order to save her children from being killed, more children being killed. And she ultimately becomes very vulnerable in this war because she loses her standing by trying to protect her rich, spoiled daughter in the United States. And Benicio and a man called Azul sense the weakness and they go for her. They sense the blood like sharks. So she pays the price. No good end is in sight for this drug war.